Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Second evening down the garage this week. Following on from the last video, which if you watched, you would have seen that we sorted out the pan hard rod on the back, etc. And I also found out that I had some very, very loose wheel bearings, which I no longer have, which is good. And in that video, obviously, we discussed the steering and the fact that the steering was really loose. I took the rack out. I took it out before I started filming because I knew it was going to be a pain in the arse. And actually, if I'm honest with you, 3 of the 4 bolts were really, really easy. One bolt right in there where the gearbox is like 2 inches off the firewall because there's no room for it. It took me about an hour to get that one bolt out. But anyway, the rack is now out. So I thought, seeing as the rack is now out, I will pop you guys here somewhere where you can see what's going on. And we'll start stripping this rack back to see if there's anything I can do with it. And I don't think there is going to be anything I can do with it, but my plan is, where the play was right in the middle of the rack, so I'm hoping that if I could take this out, turn the pinion a whole kind of half a turn, if that makes sense, and then hopefully the play won't be right in the middle of the steering wheel, which is where I'm holding it when I'm trying to stop the torque steer, if that makes any sense to any of you whatsoever. It makes sense to me in my head. But whether it will work or not, I don't know. So, right, let me grab a 13mm. What I'll do is start by taking this off. I did strip all this down and clean it and paint it and whatever before I put it in the car, so it may be that I've actually forgotten to put something back in, potentially, but let's strip this out and look. So that's fine, the seal's still in there. The bearing ring is still in there, with all the bearings in. There's not a lot of grease in it, but there's some. There's also no play in that part of the shaft, so that's fine. They are 10mm, so let me get a 10mm. God, they're tight. Right, take this off. And if we take this off, we'll have access to the gear. Hopefully be able to see where our worn tooth is. So that's that. The gasket's still on there. The spring did go back in. The spring was definitely in there. Middle nose pliers. There we go. That doesn't look too worn. It's got a nice lot of grease on it. Right, and then we can see, if I can wiggle out the pinion gear, there we go. Rather disappointingly, or well, I say disappointingly, but that gear looks absolutely fine. Bearing is fine, there's no play in it. Okay, well, it's definitely not the pinion then, is it? So it could well be the rack. So, right. Let's strip these boots off and we'll slide the rack out and see what we've got there and then, shall we? Right, give me a second. So far it looks alright. This looks absolutely fine. I don't know if that's an annoying thing or a good thing, but it does look absolutely fine. I don't know what to say. It looks absolutely fine. Oh yeah, I put a new light in, by the way. Used to have all this LED tape stuck up there. I changed it for a batten. It's a lot brighter. It's absolutely crap for filming because there's no a line there. I put something in front of it really, but anyway. Side note aside, I have got the rack back together. There is absolutely no play in it whatsoever. The ball joints are fine. There's no in and out play on the little ball joints on the inside of the arms. No, it's pretty good. And the ball joints are all new, so there shouldn't be any play, and there's not. One or two ways of looking at it. At least I know the rack's fine. Quite frustrating though, because I still don't know what my issue was with play. I've greased it all up with some multi-purpose grease. If I quickly just put the spanner on there, you'll be able to see it's like there's absolutely no play in that whatsoever, all the way around. So yeah, and it's very smooth, probably because it's got all that grease in it. Right, I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to wrestle it back in the car. Catch you guys in a minute. I'm not going to film it because it's a pain in the arse. Catch you guys in a minute once it's back in the car, see if we've still got any play, and then we'll have to start looking elsewhere, won't we?
2 hours later.
Right, it's back in, all bar one bolt. The only one I haven't put back in is this really annoying fucking fiddly one down there somewhere. I'll put that back in a minute. I'm just going to test everything first because I'm not going to fuck around trying to get that back in if I'm going to take the rack back out again. If that makes sense. So it's all back together. There's absolutely no play in the steering left to right on either of the wheels. Like the whole thing is solid the whole way through. I've got it all connected back up down there. Got the wheel connected back up. Got the joint, the little collapsible joint thing back in down there. And now it's very smooth. Doesn't seem to be any more play in it, which is very strange. So what I'm going to do is jack it up, pop it back down on the floor so there's actually some weight on the wheels, and we will see. Maybe it was just needed grease or something. I don't know. Do not know. Maybe that's all that was causing the problem. Fuck knows. Right. Before I put the car down, I've got a little something to show you. Something I found whilst I was working under here. A little bit concerning. Right. The gearbox mount has decided to, I'll just say, rip itself away. So I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, it should have been plated. Yeah, it should have been plated. I couldn't be bothered to plate it at the time. I thought, yeah, it'd be alright. Nah, it's not alright. Anyway, that'd be a job for tomorrow night, won't it? Taking that out and re-welding all that. Ugh. I hate welding on my back. Right, anyway. Back to the job at hand. Let's drop the car down. Right, as you can probably tell, it's a new day. Got the rack and everything all sorted last night, got it back in the car. It's hell of a lot better than it was before, surprisingly enough. I'll just show you guys before we move on to the next thing, but I'll insert a clip quickly of what it was like before we took the rack out, and you'll see how much the wheels were moving. Or sorry, the wheels weren't moving. And now, if I show you, there's almost no play in that like there was before. There's no noise like there was before. And if I show you the wheel here, you can see it moves with the steering wheel perfectly. So probably should sort that out at some point as well. So yeah, really strange. I couldn't find anything wrong with the rack whatsoever. Nothing was loose when I took it off. Well, obviously something somewhere was loose. It must have been. That's the only possible option. You have to excuse me. The old hay fever's got me all bunged up tonight. But there we go. Shit happens. Yeah, something must have been loose. That's all I can imagine. I mean, we've taken it apart, cleaned it, re-greased it, etc. And there's almost no play in there at all anymore. The wheel bearings are now tight, which probably helps actually quite a lot. So yeah, on that front, we're all good. There's two little things to sort out now left from the other evening, so I've still got to sort this out. And I mentioned earlier in the video that I think I did. I can't remember if I did or not, but I found that this bolt here on the boost pipe has been rubbing on the fuel line, and I'm glad I found it when I did, because that would have ended badly. I mean, it's only rubbed through the outer nylon braid. The steel braid, still see the steel braid is still intact on the inside there, and so is the rubber. But this is nice and long anyway. I could cut plenty off of that. So, being that it's a fuel line, last thing I want to do is take my chance on it. So I'm going to quickly whip that line off, cut it down, remake it off, and then what I'm going to do is when I put these back on, spin these two around so they face out this way. I can see why I did them like that, because then you wouldn't be able to see the bolt sticking out and it would be neat. But yeah, I didn't think for a minute actually that they were going to catch on that line. So yeah, I'm going to quickly whip that off, remake that off, quickly solder that up. And then Dean is on his way down tonight, and now that we've got the steering kind of sorted and we've worked out the issue with the coil, we're going to go out and do a bit of testing, seeing it's a lovely evening. So far it's dry, fingers crossed it stays dry. We're going to go out and do a little bit of testing, so we'll take you with us and see where that goes. And then at some point I should probably look at that gearbox mount that's half falling off. I should probably do that before we go testing, but I'm not going to. Anyway, right, I'm going to sort this line, see you in a minute.
Going to the garage that's charging £1.90, 97.9 I think it is.
What's it charging?
£1.97.9 for petrol at that garage there. It's absolutely ridiculous. £1.85.9 at this one here, just over the road. So that's the one that we will have. Still extortionate, but it's better. I could have parked a little bit further away from the pump as well if I tried. Do that. Right, let's go and get fucking robbed. Is it right in there? It is right in there.
Literally. Half the screen is my
up close and personal with Dean's mug.
As anyone can see, the grey hairs that are coming through because of this build.
Purely
not having a missus and a child.
Purely because of me. Not because of anything else.
Nothing else in life, no.
Except just about, that side's a bit loose, let's tighten that side up.
It's alright, the patchy grey beard's on the other side, I can't see it.
That's it, yeah, mine's all here.
Mine's down it, down, very loud.
Okay, right, are we good? Are we alive and kicking? So let's have some power, let's have some engine, let's have some starter, let's have some charge cooler. And let's go for a wee drive. That's reverse, that's first. Right, let's see if we can get a speeding ticket tonight, shall we? Oh, some lights might help. Look at those charts in the text. It's dropping. I mean, I know we're not under boost, but so for those of you that don't know, because I didn't tell you before we left, I've iced down the charge cooler box. So we should get some reasonably good, nice cold air intake temps tonight. At the moment it's sitting at 12 degrees. It's about 18 or 19 ambient tonight. These country roads aren't going to be comfortable though, are they?
Not massively.
Actually drives really nice now with that steering better all sorted.
Worth doing them.
I feel a lot more in control of it than I did.
Yeah, we can go check it.
Go down there, can't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm nowhere near the limit, I ain't got the balls. I haven't got the balls to stay in it. Although in theory, if I've lost an injector, I should still try and run on the other cylinder, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right, I'll tell you what I'll do. Because it's igniting a dry cylinder.
What, just disconnect?
If I take that coil off,
Well, that won't fire.
then it won't fire. It should run fine on the other 3 cylinders at the right AFR. Get us home.
Alright.
Yeah? What do you reckon?
Yeah, try it.
The theory should work.
Well, we can drive to the end of this if we want.
Right.
Never a straightforward night, is it?
It's always fun and games when we're out in the Fiesta, boys and girls. Right. You've probably gathered by now from listening to us waffle on, but we are about to drive home on 3 cylinders because the injector on cylinder number 2
Watch out.
on cylinder number 3 has shit its pants.
Now, because someone that's granny shifting, not double clutching like they should, half a gearbox.
Granny shifting, not double clutching like you should.
Right, boys and girls, I'll catch you up when we get back to the garage. If we get back to the garage. Right, we made it back the other night. Obviously, you've just seen the footage for that. So yeah, that was last night. We made it back, and it's firing on 1, 2, not 3, and 4. So we were down a cylinder, down an injector. That's why it was running lean. So when we unplugged the coil, it's then no longer igniting the dead cylinder. Now, having thought about it overnight a little bit, if the injector was completely dead, like completely dead, then in theory, this coil being attached wouldn't matter because it'd just be igniting air. So I'm wondering whether that is not. And when we got back, we tested them all, and it does work. Well, it works in the fact that it clicks. It goes click, 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 click when we test it. So I reckon that one's blocked. Anyway, I've needed new injectors anyway because these are only 260cc standard beige injectors from the Focus. So I had a little look around on Marketplace and I came across a set of these, which are Astra VXR. These are Vauxhall Astra VXR, exactly the same style injector, except these are a 330cc, so they're a little bit bigger. They're not as big as we're going to need for the be all and end all of time. I think eventually I'm probably going to need some 660s or 700s. But for now, 330s are more than enough. We've got these maxed out are more than enough for what we've got at the moment. So those not maxed out are plenty. There's plenty of fuel there. So what I'm going to quickly do is got quite a lot I need to get done tonight, to be honest, because we're getting closer to Bromley and the list of things is getting longer, not shorter. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly whip the fuel rail off, swap these injectors out for these ones. I don't know the dead times for these injectors. I know they're 330cc at 3 bar, but I don't know what the dead times are, so that could be a problem actually, just thinking about it, because I'll need to change the dead times. Probably what I'll end up doing is just leaving the same dead times for those injectors in there and hoping it works. Yeah, right, stop waffling. I'm going to get this whipped off and put the new injectors on. I'll catch you guys in a second.
A few moments later.
Right, injectors are in. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was right pig. I had to take this off and take the breather line off, and it's an absolute nightmare just because it's all crammed in there, but it's all back together. So I've got the ECU connected, and what I'm going to do is go into my test modes, enable test mode, and then what I can do is I can turn my fuel pump on so that it runs. Hear all sorts of gurgling. 4 bar apparently, which is about 3.5 bar, 3 bar when running. So right, what I'm going to do is just, with that running, have a good check of all these joints that I did and undid with a torch over them, injector seals and everything, to make sure there's no fuel dripping anywhere, which it doesn't seem to be at the moment. I'm taking no chances, so once this thing gets hot and everything expands and moves and jiggles, I'll check it again. But we seem to be good so far. It's holding fuel pressure and nothing's squirting out. Cool, right. Turn that off then, turn that off. Close that. Right, and then fuel settings, injector dead time and pulse width. That means that wants to be at 1 millisecond and not 1.4. So I'm going to change that to 1 millisecond, burn that in and close that. And then going to go to basic load. Right, calculate required fuel. Here we go, yeah. Right, that's that. Number of cylinders, therefore injector flow rate. 330 cc's a minute. Okay, so that's going to change that. So right, I'll burn that into the ECU. We'll do a power cycle and then start it up, see what happens. Right. Power cycle the ECU, so the settings go. Well, the settings are already saved, but take effect. It came to life like it should do. Close. So I'm going to be really, really lean or really, really rich. One of the two. Right. Well, in theory they shouldn't be, because in theory, if you're interested, if not, just skip this bit, but in theory, by changing the injector size in the ECU, it should automatically adjust the calculations in the VE table. So the VE numbers stay the same, they just represent a different percentage. I think that's how it works anyway. Right. I'm waffling because I'm nervous it's going to blow up. Right, let's try again. So I've got fuel, I've got spark, I've got that, it's not in gear. Let's go. Started quite nicely. I mean, it's rich, but warm up is on and after start. So warm up enrichment, after start enrichment both come on when you start an engine. The after start will go off in a minute. Warm up will stay on until it gets up to temp. So it's probably adding about 100% extra fuel than it needs to. My pulse width is much better, down at 3 milliseconds. That used to sit at 6-7 milliseconds because the injectors were so small. It's idling up quite nicely. The other thing I did think, to be honest with you guys, is these injectors, I know one's failed, that's why we changed them, but they are quite old and grubby, and I was never really too sure on the injectors in the first place. So it may well be that they've kind of been bad all along. It's kind of affected the way we've tuned things and stuff, but that seems to be idling quite nicely. Exhaust sounds alright at idle. Right, I'm going to move that out of the way, the orange Zoomer thing. I'm going to move that out of the way, get some temp in this, and I'm going to take it for a not very long but short drive just up the road and back, just to make sure that the map is still tolerable. If it's good, I might do a quick data log on a couple of pulls and leave it at that. But right then, boys and girls, warmed it up, double checked everything. I've got 1.5 extinguisher here, a big CO2 one down there, just in case. We always carry those with us. I've got the battery hooked up. I am nice and uncomfortable. I might even put my sunglasses on this evening because I think the sun's out. It's quite a nice evening. What do you reckon? I reckon I look fucking just like Tom Cruise. Right. Laptop is set up down there so I can keep an eye on it. Obviously I've got the AFR gauge up there. I've got data log ready to go. I've got to press enter whilst I'm going. Depending on how it goes, I might do a log or not. Right, let's go.
to go to the limiter. That'll give us some good data though. That'll give me some good data. Jesus, right. Let's take it back to the garage, have a look. Definitely sound like something fell off at some point, but maybe it's just like hit the pothole. And go from there. But I think it's safe to say, ladies and gents, injectors have done the job. She is back up on all fours. Right. See you guys back at the garage.